Let's be honest, managing the finances for clinical trials can get pretty complicated, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We'll walk you through the exact financial workflow in Edge step by step, starting right after you've imported your budget template. You'll see how to stay in control from day one.
So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with a quick look at the core workflow, the big picture. Then we'll dive into the details, how to record activities, create those all-important invoices, reconcile payments when they come in, and finally, run some really insightful reports. By the end, you'll see how it all connects beautifully.
All right, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's just zoom out for a second. If you can get your head around this basic flow, everything else we talk about is going to click into place so much easier.
It really all boils down to these 4 actions. First, you record what happened. Then, you invoice for it. After that, you track the payment. And finally, you run reports to see how everything is going. That's it. This simple cycle takes you all the way from a patient visit to a full financial summary.
Okay, let's talk about the absolute foundation of this whole process, logging those billable events as they happen. Getting this part right is, and I mean this, absolutely crucial for everything else to work.
First things first, you need to understand how Edge thinks about costs. The activity type is basically the what. It tells the system what kind of thing you're logging. So a specific blood test might be an itemized activity, while that standard fee for a screening visit is a participant-scheduled visit. Makes sense, right?
So if that was the what, the cost category is the why. It explains the purpose of the cost. Now, for most industry-sponsored trials, you're pretty much always going to be using research cost, but it's super important for proper accounting and just getting that complete financial picture.
So what does this actually look like in the system? Well, say a participant just finished a visit. You just go to their profile, click on the Finance tab, and hit Add a Templated Cost. That one click instantly pulls up the budget you've already loaded in. Super simple.
And this is where the magic happens. Edge gives you a nice little checklist of every possible cost for that type of visit. All you have to do is check the boxes for what actually took place. This is the key moment where you verify exactly what goes into the billing cycle for that participant's visit, ensuring everything is spot on.
And boom, there it is. Just like that, those items are now officially logged as costs for that participant. You've got the date, the activity, the cost. It's all calculated and recorded. These little guys are now just sitting in the system waiting to be invoiced.
Okay, so we've carefully recorded all our activities. They're all lined up and ready to go. The next logical question is, how do we actually turn these records into a bill we can send to the sponsor and get paid?
Let's hop over to the Invoices tab. This is where we take all those individual cost items we just logged and bundle them together. This is where we turn that data into dollars. Back on the main project page, you'll head into the Finance section and just create a new invoice. Think of it like grabbing an empty envelope. You're just getting it ready to stuff with all those billable items you've been so carefully tracking.
Now, this is the really clever part. When you click Add Costs, Edge automatically shows you every single billable item for the whole project that hasn't been invoiced yet. This is huge because it means nothing gets forgotten or slips through the cracks. You can easily pull everything together in one go.
So you've created the invoice, you've sent it off. Job done, right? Well, not quite. The next critical step is to close that loop by actually recording the payment when it arrives from the sponsor. And doing this is really straightforward. Right inside that same invoice, you'll see a function to add credits. You just click that, pop in the date the payment came in, the amount, and maybe a reference number. It creates a perfect digital paper trail. Then you can update the status of the invoice itself. You can mark it as raised, which means you've sent it, and once it's all paid up, you can mark it as reconciled. This gives you a crystal clear audit trail of the entire process.
So what you end up with is this incredibly powerful financial dashboard. Your main invoice screen gives you this amazing at-a-glance view of every single invoice, its status, the total amount, what's been paid. It's a real-time snapshot of your trial's financial health.
All right, we're on the home stretch. All of this careful data entry has been leading up to something really valuable. Let's look at how you can pull all this information out of the system to really understand what's going on.
If you head over to the main Reports tab, you'll see Edge has a whole section dedicated just to finance. This is your command center for generating reports that give you that comprehensive overview of all the financial activity across your projects.
You can get super granular with the cost events report. That'll show you every single line item you've logged. Or you can get the big picture with the invoices report. But maybe the most important part?
This data isn't trapped inside Edge. You can export these reports and connect them right into your organization's main accounting software.
So what's the big takeaway here? This whole workflow, it's not just about typing things into a computer. It's a system for building a reliable, accurate, and transparent financial picture of your clinical trial, one event at a time. It's all about clarity. So the only real question left is, what financial question are you going to answer first?